Hello, I'm Gail Nash, and in this video, we'll look at some ways to manage that first class introductions using an oral-only approach. So first of all, let's remember some basic tenets of the direct method or using oral only. No written, no reading, no written word, no reading at this point. First of all, remember to use props. So for introductions, this would be some kind of name tag for you. And at this point, you can decide if students have their names written out, even though we're not relying on the written word, if they have a name tag or something with their name in the Roman alphabet for you to refer to, for them to get used to, that's okay. It's also okay if you don't, as long as you know their names. At any rate, you need a name tag. So pointing to your name tag, say, "My name is Gail." And then remember to use negation with props. So at this point, you could get some pictures of some well-known people, being careful, mindful, not to pick any names that are controversial or would be offensive in your students' culture. I thought of the royal family, the British royal family, because they seem fairly popular in a safe way these days. So for example, I might have a picture of Queen Elizabeth and pointing to the picture of Queen Elizabeth, say, "This is Queen Elizabeth." Is my name Queen Elizabeth? No, it isn't. And that's what I'm helping students to repeat. I want them to understand the question and understand an appropriate response. No, it isn't. So I would point to other people in the royal family. For example, this is Princess Kate. Is my name Princess Kate? No, it isn't. This is Meghan Markle. Is my name Meghan Markle? No, it isn't. And then pointing again to the picture of Queen Elizabeth, ask it a little differently. Is her name Gail? No, it isn't. Pointing to Princess Kate, is her name Gail? No, it isn't. Pointing to Meghan Markle, is her name Gail? No, it isn't. What's her name? Her name is Megan. So in this process, I've kind of naturally brought students to the "what's her name" question by using the negation, getting them to say, "No, it isn't," because they know the right answer, right? At any rate, you can repeat this process with individual student names if they know each other. If you know their names, you can say, "Her name is Danya. His name is Peter." If you don't know that, then don't worry about it. You can also use the same procedure to teach the word his with pictures of famous men. Or you don't have to have pictures. You can also use stick figures and draw the stick figure on the board, making it look male and female and giving them names, being mindful of the fact that names are not cross-cultural all the time, right? So students might not naturally know that the name Connie is male or female, for example, right? So just kind of being aware of that. So basic tenets: use props, use negation, and then of course, use gestures. So at this point, students should have an understanding of the question word what. So pointing to your name tag, you can say, "My name is Gail." Pointing to a student next to you or in the room, you can say, "What's your name?" And help the students give the answer, "My name is." One thing you can consider at this point is whether or not you're going to insist on a full answer, "My name is Anna," or you're going to allow one-word answers, "Anna." Either one is okay, and you should actually kind of gauge it. I would suggest gauging it according to students' comfort level at this point with speaking. If it seems to make them super anxious about "my name is," then just let them answer with one word, just their name. If you feel like they're ready for the structure, the full sentence, then encourage that because you can build on that. Just think about it. But at this point, you should be able to go around the room with students asking each other, what's your name, my name is. At this point, I like to do a kind of round robin game type activity where we all learn each other's names. And so I start with myself and say, my name is Gail. Pointing this to the student on my right, I would say, your name is Samantha. And then I would motion for Samantha to do the same thing, right? For her to say, my name is Samantha. And then I would point to myself and try to get her to say, your name is Gail. And then to the student next to Samantha, I would motion for the same occurrence. So that student says, my name is Danya. And I would point to myself and try to get Danya to say, your name is Gail. And then I would point to Samantha and try to get Danya to say, her name is Samantha. And that's what I want to do around the room so that each consecutive student says her name, my name, and the students' names before them. In this way, they're practicing my name is, your name is, her name is. And if you have a mixed gender classroom, then you're saying his name is. I would go all the way around the room, up to maybe 10 students, depending on how many you have. Again, keeping in mind that this is supposed to be fun, a fun way to get to know each other. So you can help people remember names. It's not a test. If you feel like it would be helpful after you've gone all the way around, right to left, then you can do the same process starting on your left side. So the student over here is the one who has to remember everyone's names. Here's what that looks like in the middle of a lesson plan. So one of my co-teachers let me look at her lesson plan where she had worked in what I'm just talking to you about in her lesson plan. So at this point now, you're ready to do the simplest of introductions where you, and again, always model it yourself first. So you would say, get a volunteer student and stand up maybe in front of the class if that feels right for the two of you to stand in front of the class and say, hello, my name is Gail. What's your name? And the student would respond, my name is Hannah-Laura. Nice to meet you, Hannah-Laura. You too, Gail. So again, keeping in mind that these last two phrases students are repeating without reading. You don't have the dialogue on the board. You don't have the dialogue in front of them. So one thing I would like to do is put a blank line where students are supposed to supply words. So they know that nice to meet you is 4 words. You too is 2 words. And so you could just kind of help them repeat it, point to the blank line so they're kind of enunciating and they're kind of realizing, even if they don't know exactly what they're saying, they don't know what the word nice means necessarily, but they know that it's a greeting and it's a response to an introduction, and they kind of know how many words they've got. So with this, you could do role plays around the room. As you continue to build on this lesson, note how much information students can practice using the structure you've just taught them. So all the possessive pronouns, my, your, her, his, their, possibly. Then you can introduce other vocabulary words, especially once they know numbers. Telephone number, my email is, his address is, their last name is, your telephone number is, whatever. You can really build on this, and all of these can be further practiced with the question word what, naturally in the classroom with students sharing information with you and with each other. I would, when students give answers like they say what their telephone number is, or they say what their address is, or their email, when they say it out loud, I might write it on the board, the numbers, just to make sure they're saying 3 like they think they're saying 3. So again, we're kind of doing oral only, but with numbers, you can kind of get away with going ahead and putting the symbol on the board. I hope this introduction to the direct method helps you plan and enjoy your first oral only classes until writing and reading are incorporated. In my next video, the last one, I'll introduce you to a couple of fun techniques you can incorporate in an oral only lesson. You can do this.